Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Facebook Live. I'm so excited because we're talking about one of my favorite subjects, infrared saunas. And I love to dispel myths about infrared saunas and talk to you guys about the differences between near, mid, far infrared saunas and traditional saunas, and is sweating enough to detox. And I know you guys have a lot of questions. But more importantly, I want to talk about some of the benefits. There's so many benefits to infrared saunas. Forget heavy metal and chemical detox. I mean, we know that they detox those, and they're incredibly effective at detoxing your body of heavy metals and chemicals, which everybody has, but they have so many benefits over and above just detoxification. And we're going to be talking about all of those today. We're going to be talking about how saunas improve weight loss and the appearance of cellulite, because toxins are stored in fat. And we're going to be talking about increased energy, how saunas stimulate your mitochondria to produce more energy, and exactly how anti-aging and skin rejuvenation benefits. We'll be talking about pain relief benefits, reduced blood pressure and improved arterial and heart health, reduction of stress, which is super important today, and enhance immunity and infection control of all kinds, mold, fungus, parasites, candida, what have you, reduction in inflammation, and faster exercise recovery. We'll also talk about, you guys may not know about this, but how saunas kill cells poisoned by radiation or affected by radiation. In other words, mutated cells. So mutated cells, when they start to multiply, can turn into cancers, whether they are benign or malignant. And so infrared saunas help to kill irradiated cells. So I'll talk about where we're getting radiation and exactly how cells or saunas kill these cells that are responsible for millions and millions of cancers. And I'll also talk about how saunas improve your mood as well. And all of this, I'm going to talk about the different studies that prove all of this stuff. And I'll also talk about far infrared versus near infrared saunas, which is best. So lots of really, really juicy information for you guys on the Facebook Live today. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, do not hesitate to ask a question. I'll be answering your questions throughout my little lecture here. And I'll talk about some, just all kinds of interesting stuff today. So first I want to talk about, how infrared saunas detox you from heavy metals and chemicals. So the main reason to use a sauna is detox. Heavy metals like lead and cadmium, and mercury, and arsenic, nickel, and aluminum, and gallium, and cesium. There's so many of them. These metals accumulate in our body, causing all kinds of unimaginable health conditions. They poison enzymes. They poison different genes that make our proteins, and they interfere in almost every different metabolic process in the body. And so we've got to get rid of these metals that enter our bodies in the air, food, and water. Just everyone has metal toxicity, the only difference being the degree of toxicity and the type of metals that you have. So this is one reason I love the infrared saunas, is the weight loss and cellulite reduction benefits. Actually, I did my infrared sauna this morning because I'm on like a weight loss bonanza, because I'm going to Maui for summer vacation. I'm going to go in about a month, and I'm trying to lose 10 pounds before I go. So I'm getting in my infrared sauna every single day and just trying to melt that fat away. And because an infrared sauna session can burn between 200 to 600 calories a day, or during a session. And so there's different this is a little bit of a controversial subject. Some websites say, no, you can't really burn more than 200 calories. And another very reputable, scientific Journals say that you can lose up to 600 calories a day, so or per sauna session. So it really just depends on the person. There's a lot of different circumstances depending on getting that figure. So everyone's different. And also on The Biggest Loser, I don't know if you guys watched that. A lot of the winners use infrared saunas to further their weight loss and reduce as much pounds as possible and to win. So infrared saunas are a perfect complement to any weight loss regime. And so basically how they do that is they detoxify the body of toxins that promote weight gain. And the body stores fat-soluble toxins in fat. So if you have a lot of toxins, the body is forced to hold on to this fat to store it. And it's very simple. I mean, you have to get rid of these toxins out of your body so your body can then allow the release of the fat in the fat cells. And the body has to store all these toxins somewhere. So there can be some people that kind of eat a normal caloric diet, they exercise, they do everything right for their health, and they just have this tire around them, or they're obese, and they just can't lose it no matter what they do. And we know now that calories and weight loss is not the calories in, calories out method. It's not that simple. And it's not always just as simple as going keto or low carb or restricting calories or what have you. And I know so many of you guys out there, including myself, have done that, gone to bed hungry, calorie restriction, exercising a lot, and are still very, very frustrated with little or no results. So toxins are a huge component to resistant weight loss and weight gain. Arsenic toxicity definitely for me was a big factor in trouble losing weight, because arsenic will actually poison enzymes that transport triglycerides out of your fat cells. So if you have a lot of arsenic, that's going to throw a wrench in your body's ability to just release the fat from the cells. And then if you have chemicals called obesogens, obesogens are chemicals that directly or indirectly increase obesity through the disruption of metabolic, hormonal, and developmental processes. And they have the ability to alter fat cell development, alter metabolism, and alter fat retention. They also cause insulin resistance and diabetes. And there's currently about 20 chemicals that have been identified as obesogens. And they include nicotine, MSG, which is also known as yeast extract, a lot of healthy gluten-free foods, and arsenic, atrazine, DDT, high fructose corn syrup, parabens, which are preservatives in most beauty care products, fragrance, which is in everything, beauty care products, cleaners, laundry detergents, phthalates, which help to leave the color and scent in, say, your sheets after you wash them, and BPA is also an obesogen. So these are chemicals that that we're exposed to constantly all day long, and these promote weight gain. So it's not surprising that 2/3 of the people in the US are obese or morbidly obese. It's not just caloric intake. And infrared sauna is really instrumental in detoxing these toxic chemicals from our bodies and helping to release toxic fat. And in fact, doing an infrared sauna at about 130-degree mark is really that magic number that helps to release the majority of toxic fat, help to the cells to release their toxic material and then get rid of the fat cell. And actually doing niacin sauna flushing, the purpose of doing niacin flushing is to actually explode fat cells. That's kind of the purpose of the niacin, is niacin will cause fat cells to explode and they release their toxic contents, and then your body will process that through, hopefully taking binders like my Citriclins or any other type of binder. So also infrared saunas promote weight loss by helping you to build muscle. So an important factor in building muscle is growth hormone. And the more growth hormone you have, the easier it is to build muscle, and then the more calories that you burn while you're resting or when you're not exercising. This is a huge key in weight loss. So anything you can do to improve or enhance growth hormone release is really key. And growth hormone release is induced by an increase in body temperature, not just by exercise itself. So using an infrared sauna can help dramatically releasing more growth hormone. And growth hormone increases muscle mass and lipolysis, or the breakdown of stored fat. Growth hormone dramatically reduces after the age of 30, and a sauna, like I said, is a great way to increase it naturally. And some people, even they're trying to lose weight, they'll inject, growth hormone into them to get those weight loss benefits. You don't have to do that. You can just do an infrared sauna and do it naturally and safely, and a hell of a lot, less expensively. And so also, there's a really interesting study that came out in Germany, and they used near infrared bulbs in a sauna in combination with exercise, and the women in the study increased their weight loss by 444% that were exercising the same amount of time and intensity as women, but that didn't have red near infrared bulbs shining on them while doing the exercise, and they lost far more weight. And so it's even better if you're in an infrared sauna and you can also be exercising at the same time, or exercising and just have bulbs shining on you. So that's a big benefit as well. I'm gonna move my microphone closer. Is that a little bit better? Can you guys hear me better? And so I'll talk now about cellulite reduction. So infrared saunas help a lot with reduction of cellulite, and there's a lot of factors involved in cellulite formation. So poor circulation, lack of exercise, poor muscle tone, fluid retention, toxin storage, diminished lymph drainage. These all seem to worsen the appearance of cellulite. And exposure to estrogen and estrogen-like chemicals in today's world play a role in cellulite formation as well. And there's a lot of evidence that shows that near infrared sauna therapy provides direct and indirect help in reducing cellulite. So first off, near infrared energy release increases tissue circulation, and it promotes healing, rejuvenation of the skin, and deeper connective tissues. And cellulite is visible in part to weaken connective tissue. So near infrared therapy helps to rebuild connective tissue, reducing the appearance of cellulite. So in women's cellulite, their connective tissue is kind of like a honeycomb, kind of looks like a honeycomb, and then the fat cells will protrude through that honeycomb, giving it kind of like a lumpy appearance. And men, you guys, your connective tissue is more like a sheet. So like a sheet with no holes in it. So that's why you don't have cellulite. It's really annoying. But as women have to deal with this and find ways to get rid of it. And so the near infrared sauna also stimulates detoxification while boosting the overall metabolism. And so that's really how, in multiple ways, that a near infrared sauna will reduce cellulite and cellulite appearance. So let's talk a little bit about energy and how near infrared saunas and infrared saunas in general increase energy production. Well, so you have your mitochondria. They're the little power plants of the cells that produce our energy. And they produce more ATP, or the energy currency of the cell, when exposed to near infrared rays. So this only happens in a near infrared sauna, not in a far infrared sauna. And so this happens in part because mitochondria work by absorbing infrared rays from the sun into their biophotons. And this helps to, and biophotons are like an energy storage cell in your mitochondria. And that helps to produce the majority of the energy that mitochondria manufacture. And near infrared rays, they activate the color sensitive chemicals, the chloroforms and the cytochrome systems, and that stimulates the energy processes in the cells. So that's when you're exposed to these rays in a near infrared sauna, this helps your mitochondria to produce more energy. It's very interesting. It's also the same concept of how the sun charges up our mitochondria, charges up our biophotons. Near infrared bulb saunas also have the same effect because they mimic the sun's spectrum of rays. So the near infrared bulb saunas have the same kind of effect, the same kind of frequencies and infrared rays and spectrum of the sun. They match very closely. And number 3, let's talk about anti-aging and skin rejuvenation benefits of infrared saunas. So this is, one of my secrets to staying youthful. I'm 46. I'm going to be 47 August 5th, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm very much looking forward to 50, which I can't believe is happening in like 3 years. But I'm doing everything I can. Just part of my detox regimen, part of my detox lifestyle is using infrared saunas. So it's not really any kind of beauty secret, but just doing all these things for, eating a detox diet, doing infrared saunas, doing coffee enemas, and taking supplements and removing metals and chemicals has really helped me reverse the clock and keep it there. So as far as infrared saunas are concerned, the skin is the biggest eliminative organ of the body, and regular infrared sauna use slowly restores elimination through the skin. And in most people, it's relatively inactive, it's congested, the skin is not healthy. People have excessive sun exposure or use of synthetic clothing, bathing in chlorinated and fluoridated tap water, and exposure to hundreds of chemicals damage the skin and age it. And also excessive sympathetic nervous system activity, also known as stress, fight, and flight, causes blood to be withdrawn from the skin surface, much like smoking, and that contributes to inactivity and undernourishment of the skin. And infrared saunas help to combat all of these issues and improve the skin health in a lot of different ways. So number 1, they shunt blood to the skin surface. So you're, shining these, infrared rays on you. You're facing the infrared ray lamps, and that's heating up your skin. And then when you turn like a little rotisserie chicken in your sauna, then the blood has to kind of go from your front side to your back side where the bulbs are now. And it kind of gives you this like circulation effect, but most importantly, brings a lot of blood to your skin. And after you get out of a sauna, you're nice and flush. I did mine this morning, so I kind of have a healthy glow right now. You just feel amazing, and you're glowing also. And not only that, but this shuttling of blood to your skin surface brings oxygen and nutrients, nourishes the skin. And DNA synthesis of fibroblasts, whose abundance improves the elasticity of the skin, increases 5-fold with infrared sauna use. And so really, really important. And the result is just a younger looking, more beautiful, youthful skin. And saunas are also great because they help to get rid of the congestion in your skin. A lot of people have whiteheads and blackheads and pimples and little bumps and roughness and, and other skin conditions that can clear with infrared sauna use. And I definitely noticed my skin became a lot more soft, especially my heels. Your skin just generally becomes softer and healthier as a result. And so number 4, this is going to be a long presentation. I guess we've only gotten to 4. So number 4 is pain relief. Infrared saunas, very well documented in the research to reduce pain. Penetrating heat from infrared saunas has long been proven to reduce pain in joints and muscles by reducing inflammation, increasing circulation, and they also significantly increase range of flexibility. And there's one study in 44 female fibromyalgia patients, which is, body pain. They did 3 months of sauna therapy 3 times a week. along with underwater exercise twice a week, and they decreased pain and other symptoms from 33 to 77%. That's huge. And the improvements lasted. The pain was still 28 to 68% improved 6 months after the end of the study. I mean, that's a dramatic results. And, but there's, I mean, just hundreds of studies on pain and infrared saunas. You can find them yourself on PubMed. And number 5, saunas reduce blood pressure and improve arterial and heart health. And so near infrared light promotes nitric oxide production in our cells. So there's no similar effect for far infrared rays. So it's just the near infrared spectrum that promotes nitric oxide production. And so nitric oxide is used in our bodies to regulate vasodilation. So your artery is kind of responding to stress by opening and increasing blood flow and constricting and reducing blood flow. And nitric oxide also has an antioxidant protective effect. There's many medications and supplements that are widely used and prescribed that provide or increase nitric oxide to treat problem areas. And these include things like erectile dysfunction medications, Viagra, circulatory diseases, and high blood pressure. There's one interesting study. German medical researchers concluded 1 session of an infrared sauna for over 1 hour can have a significant reduction of blood pressure thanks to persistent peripheral vessel dilation. And they also noted that blood viscosity was improved. So while normally smooth, the firm lining of the arteries become thickened and roughened by deposits of fat, fibrin, calcium, and cellular debris, and this reduces the artery's ability to expand and contract. So this is kind of hardening of the arteries. This is kind of the beginning of heart disease, the beginning of high blood pressure. And this is kind of slows the movement of blood through the narrow channels in the blood vessels. And these conditions make it easier for blood clots to form. And infrared therapy has been shown to be able to neutralize blood toxicity and smooth the walls of the arteries, capillaries, the small veins, and veins. And so number 6, infrared saunas reduce stress as well. This is really key because we need to find every method possible to reduce stress in our very modern, stressful lifestyles. So most people in modern society spend most of their time just their foot on the gas pedal. They're in sympathetic nervous system overdrive, stressed out in fight or flight mode. But even if people don't feel stressed, their bodies are under a lot of stress from EMF, electromagnetic fields, blue light, past trauma, and just the stressors of everyday life. And when you do an infrared sauna, it really assists the body into parasympathetic mode. The red lights from a near infrared sauna, they really allow detoxification to occur, and they just are shown to get the body into that relaxation, digestion, detoxification state. So that's really, really key. And also, I wanted to mention, I'm doing a webinar about this tomorrow. I'm interviewing Eileen Durfee. She's the inventor of an infrared sauna and lots of detox accessories. So I wanted to do a deep dive with her on infrared saunas and how to choose the right infrared sauna, lots of infrared sauna tips and tricks. So I wanted to give you guys that link right now in case any of you guys sign off. So I'll give you the link to this. We're doing an infrared sauna live Q&A webinar and with Eileen Durfee. She's an expert and scientist in detox and infrared saunas. So I thought you guys might get a kick out of that. So you can click this link here. I'm putting in the comments to join us for the webinar. So please join us there if you want to know more about infrared saunas. We're going to be discussing near infrared saunas versus far infrared saunas, which one is right for you, the common mistakes that can turn your near infrared sauna into a toxic trap and how to avoid it, the surprising way that you want to hydrate before and after your sauna, and why most people are getting this wrong, getting hydration wrong. How to use a sauna to accelerate your weight loss. We're going to give you lots of tips on how to increase weight loss in the sauna. Why you want to protect your eyes and brain when doing a sauna and how to do that. And my top 5 sauna tips to get the most out of your sauna. And I also recently wrote a huge, like a 50-page sauna guide. It's my, how to get the most out of a sauna and my top detox tips. We're going to give you a link to that in this webinar I'm having tomorrow also. So I spent all my Memorial Day weekend working on this free e-guide for you guys. So that's how I spent my weekend, was just learning all about infrared saunas and just, doing a deep dive on the research to bring you guys all this information this week. But I had a great time doing it. So my next topic that I want to talk about is how infrared saunas enhance immunity and infection control. And this is really, really interesting because you can improve your immune system functioning in a lot of different ways by just sweating out metals that impede immune system function. So the top metals that interfere in your immune system functioning are mercury, lead, arsenic, and cadmium. And these metals inhibit 3 different components of your immune system functioning. Number 1, metals inhibit the function of macrophages. So macrophages are the large kind of specialized cells that recognize, engulf, and destroy infected, damaged, or dead cells. So number 2, neutrophils function are negatively impacted by metals. Neutrophils are the first responders when the body is invaded by a bacteria, virus, or other organism. And even if you look at live blood cell analysis at the blood of those that are sick with infections and metals, you'll see that their neutrophils are very sluggish, like they just don't want to find a meal. They don't want to attack these invaders. And number 3, metals impair natural killer cells. Cadmium is largely responsible for this. Cadmium has been shown to increase the number of natural killer cells. And this is a problem, especially for women trying to get pregnant, because natural killer cells have to be really low for women to get pregnant. And if they're too high, cadmium can cause recurrent miscarriages. So a big problem with infertility. Also, most of our white blood cells are natural killer cells, and they're specialized to kill certain types of disease cells, especially those that have become infected with a virus and cells that have become cancerous. So this effect can be positive, but can also have a negative effect, especially women trying to get pregnant. And infrared rays have also been proven to be outstanding to improve asthma, bronchitis, pneumonia, cold, flu, sinusitis, and congestion, because the infrared rays clear inflammation, swelling, and mucus-clogged passages as well. Number 8, one of the benefits of infrared sauna is reduced inflammation and faster exercise recovery. This is why a lot of the athletes have added near-infrared saunas to the regime, to get an edge on their performance, and they recover faster from workouts and injury, and they have less soreness. And there was one study that showed that muscle fatigue was reduced by up to 42% when exposed to near-infrared rays. And other studies show that there are certain tissue regenerating materials in the body, including integrins, laminin, gap junction proteins, and kinesin proteins, have been shown a 2 to 5-fold increase upon exposure to near-infrared therapy. And number 9, so infrared saunas kill irradiated cells, which can eventually lead to cancer. And so this is a really, really important, little talked about benefit of infrared saunas, but it might be the most important benefit, because radiation causes cancer, and radiation is a huge problem in the world today, were exposed to radiation from nuclear bomb testing, from Fukushima nuclear accidents, like the one that happened in Japan about 4 years ago, and just living in urban areas, we get exposed. And one of the issues with nuclear bomb testing is every area of the world has been exposed to radiation from nuclear testing. So the Southern Hemisphere and the Pacific had the French testing the Marshall Islands. They did bomb testing in the Marshall Islands. And then we have in the Northern Hemisphere, we have Fukushima that still continues every day to leak radiation, cesium, toxic strontium into our environment. And that has gotten into the weather patterns and just, traveling across the ocean to us in the US. And then there was Chernobyl that happened in the 90s. There's a new HBO show out about that, a little mini series that I plan to watch. And there's high levels of cesium in the environment, a lot of people exposed to a lot of radiation. And so the problem with this is that radiation increases our cancer risk. There's the official radiation risk estimates published in 1991, so a long time ago, but even more so relevant today, by the International Commission on Radiological Protection, showed that planet-wide contamination will cause 175 million cancer deaths and another 350 million non-fatal cancers. It will also cause another 235 million illnesses and 588 million children to be born with birth defects such as brain damage, mental disability, spina bifida, and childhood cancers. So it's a huge problem. Radiation sources include medical and dental x-rays, medical waste that contain radioactive materials, CAT and other scans, CAT scans, proximity to food irradiation facilities, and there's also, like I mentioned, the risk from nuclear testing that's has happened and throughout history. And so how does this radiation affect our bodies exactly? So radiation is carried on mineral particles. The minerals lodge in the cells where they disrupt DNA synthesis, the formation of DNA, the copying of DNA into new cells. And this causes defective protein synthesis, resulting in all kinds of subtle metabolic dysfunctions. And as these defective proteins replicate, the metabolic errors also multiply. So a huge benefit of infrared sauna therapy is that it promotes rapid turnover of body cells. The heat, the infrared rays kill these weaker irradiated cells, and they're weaker than healthy cells from heat. They're more susceptible to the heat. And by eliminating the radiation-containing cells, this helps the body to eliminate these radioactive particles faster and prevents replication of these cells. Over a period of time, sauna therapy can dramatically reduce the amount of mutated DNA and radioactive material in the body. So one just has to continue using a sauna on a regular basis, kind of like a maintenance basis, because exposure to radiation continues throughout one's entire life. So really, really important benefit, not talked about very often with regard to infrared saunas. And then I want to talk about how infrared saunas improve mood. This is, I think, why I've been really, really happy because saunas really help people that struggle with depression. There's lots of research that shows that saunas can make you feel euphoric. Saunas are, a little bit stressful on the body. They kind of create like a hormetic effect, but this kind of stimulates your brain to release more euphoric hormones to deal with this stress. And these changes appear to be semi-permanent. So if you use a sauna regularly, you'll end up being consistently happy like I am. There's a really interesting study by Dr. Jeffrey Lieberman, and he completed 2 major studies with people with depression and using an infrared sauna. And in his first study, the participants had just 1 infrared sauna treatment, and it reduced their symptoms by about 50%. It's huge. And in his follow-up study, he found that a single session caused a rapid and powerful antidepressant effect. And these benefits continued for 6 weeks, which was, was really unexpected. And he concluded that the whole body hyperthermia holds promise as a safe, rapid-acting antidepressant treatment with a prolonged therapeutic benefit. There's lots of other studies that show you, but I just wanted to single this one out. And then number 11, this wasn't on our agenda, but I wanted to add it because this is a really interesting kind of new finding about infrared saunas. They increase our easy water in our cells. I'll explain what that is in a minute. They increase hydration and they increase negative ions, which is what you get when you do grounding or you swim in the ocean. So infrared saunas increase the amount of EZ or EZ water surrounding the body's tissues. And this was discovered by Dr. Gerald Pollack. EZ stands for exclusion zone, which has a negative charge. So this is water surrounding the body's tissues to have a negative charge. And so we need to increase this type of negatively charged water in our bodies because, and I quote Dr. Pollack, if you have an organ that's not functioning well, for example, it's lacking that negative charge, then the negative charge from the earth and from the EZ water can help to restore that negativity. I've become convinced that this negative charge is critical for healthy function. So you really want to do everything you can to increase the EZ water in your cells, increase negative ions. And part of that is just grounding. I've been going to the beach every weekend and taking walks on the beach, but I also use my infrared sauna as a very important part of my health regime to increase EZ water. And so it's the same concept as grounding to increase negative ions in and around our body. And it also helps to charge up the cells and the structured water around the cells, the EZ water. And so this is the fourth phase of water. So it's not H2O, but it's H3O2. And it can be called living water. It's more viscous, it's more dense, it's more alkaline than regular water. And it has a negative charge. It can hold energy, it can store energy much like a battery, and it can deliver energy also. So the majority of the water, the majority of your body is water molecules. But if the water in your cells is not, it's not regular water, but it's this highly structured water with specialized properties. And the key ingredient to create this highly structured water is light. For instance, electromagnetic energy, whether in the form of visible light or infrared wavelengths. And so one reason why infrared saunas make you feel so good is because your body's cells are deeply penetrated by this infrared energy, these infrared rays, which build and store this structured water. The same goes for light therapy, and spending time in the sun has the same effects. But if you're not able to go in the sun, or it's winter, you live in the northern latitudes, doing an infrared sauna can be really key in increasing EZ water and giving you more energy, charging up your mitochondria and fighting depression. So I want to talk a little bit about far infrared versus near infrared saunas. So I know this is probably a question swirling around in your head right now. So there's a lot of different types of saunas and confusion around saunas. So I want to take a little closer look at the differences between these saunas. So number one, when I say sauna, most people think of a traditional sauna. They think of the small room that's heated by a heater powered by electricity or gas or a wood fire. And these are like the traditional saunas. You can find one typically at most gyms or most spas. And the heats from conventional saunas penetrate just a few millimeters because the temperatures coming from the outside, it doesn't really penetrate you like infrared rays. But also the temperature is really hot. It can be 180 to 220 degrees Fahrenheit. And the problem is you really can't stay in this type of sauna very long. It's really, really difficult. I can only do about 10 minutes and I'm just dying, and I don't really find I sweat that much. I might get a little bit damp, but I'm not really profusely sweating. And then there are far infrared saunas. These are typically kind of wooden saunas, but inside the wooden structure, they have a ceramic or a carbon kind of heating unit that emit mainly far infrared rays in the far infrared range. And so the infrared rays, they heat you up. They heat your body up from the inside out rather than the air. So it's almost like a microwave, how it's, cooking the food instead of the air inside the microwave. It's, it's very penetrating. And the air inside a far infrared sauna can go from about, 120 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit, traditionally or normally. And the ambient air temperature is kind of the same around the entire body. So compared to like a near infrared sauna, you lose some of that circulation benefit that you'd get if you had a near infrared sauna with bulbs just kind of facing the front of you and you're kind of turning around facing the bulbs. You don't get that. That has a really good circulation benefit that you don't get from a far infrared sauna. And most far infrared saunas emit a lot of EMF, not all of them, but some of them are alarmingly high in EMF, especially the cheaper ones made from China. So you have to be very, very careful. And they can cost, hundreds of dollars every month to use. Some of these big wooden infrared saunas, you order them, you get them at home, and you have to pay an electrician to do a special 220 volt plug in your home. They have to have a dedicated electrical circuit, and they're very expensive to heat up and run. So a lot of negatives there, but a lot of the research on detox is on far infrared saunas. So these saunas do detox you. They're great at detoxification, though they have their pros and cons just like anything. So near infrared saunas, which are really my favorite type of saunas, use these incandescent infrared heat lamps, or they're these red bulbs. They emit far infrared, near infrared, and a little bit of middle infrared. It's mostly far infrared, but you get the near infrared. And the near infrared penetrate a few inches in your body, and they heat you up so that you can detox. So the far infrared is what's producing the heat. The far infrared from the bulbs, it's what's making you hot. But you get all these additional health benefits from the near infrared spectrum. And I just talked about some of those today in the presentation. And what's good also about these, the air can be kept a little bit cooler than a far infrared sauna. They can be kept at about 110, maybe 130, 140 degrees, allowing people to sauna who are sick or elderly or very heat sensitive. You can keep the sauna pretty low and still get a lot of the benefits. And also I mentioned that the saunas, the bulbs that you sit in front of, they allow the blood shunting or increased circulation benefits. They double the circulation benefits over a far infrared sauna. So just another benefit there. And also the light from near infrared saunas increase energy production. Mitochondria and our cells have near infrared receptors. They don't have far infrared receptors. So that those near infrared receptors charge up our biophotons, little storage energy cells in the mitochondria. So you get that benefit with near infrared, not with far infrared. And then I'll just kind of talk about steam rooms. A lot of people ask this question. These are very hot, and you really can't stay in them very long. I mean, yes, they do cause you to sweat, but you're not going to enjoy a huge amount of detox effect. You get much more productive sweat. Same holds for exercise. You get, when you're sweating with exercise, but when you're using an infrared sauna, these infrared rays penetrate you, they heat you up from the inside out, and you have much more increased detox effects, release of toxins from fat cells inside you, and much more toxins in the sweat. So a more detox, productive sweat. You don't get that with steam rooms so much. You don't get that as much with exercise. Also because exercise releases cortisol typically. So when you have a lot of cortisol release, you're not in detoxification mode. So it kind of will shut down your detoxification to varying degrees, even though you're technically sweating, it's not going to be as productive sweat as doing an infrared sauna. So exercise kind of throws a wrench in, detoxification. So I wanted to answer that question because we get that a lot. I know a lot of you guys are thinking, but I sweat every day when I exercise. It's not the same. And so my opinion is that near infrared is the best option for if you want to get a sauna, especially when it comes to detoxification and deeper healing. They're all good. It's just I personally prefer near infrared saunas. So I'm going to be talking about this more in depth and cover a lot of other different topics tomorrow. I'm doing an infrared sauna live Q&A webinar with Eileen Durfee. She's an expert and she's a scientist she's an inventor in infrared saunas and in detox protocols and equipment. She has all this just really, really interesting background. She's a nuclear engineer and has really thought a lot about detoxification, how to dramatically improve it and get better results. So I want to invite you guys to join us on this webinar tomorrow. It's Wednesday tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And so I'm going to send you the link to register for that. If you can't make the webinar at that time, don't worry about it. Just register. We'll send you an email for the replay after we do the webinar. So you'll be able to watch it at any time. I'll also upload it to my YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/Wendy Myers. Please go there and subscribe. So on this webinar, we're going to be talking about near infrared versus far infrared saunas and go more in depth than I went into it today. The common mistakes that turn your near infrared sauna into a toxic trap and what to do about it. This is really interesting. When I first heard about this, I hadn't heard about this before, but it's really shocking. So you're going to want to tune into the webinar to listen to this. And you'll also learn the surprising ways you want to hydrate. So hydration tactics before, during, and after the sauna. This is also incredibly interesting. And really also information you want to know just to hold on to water yourself. A lot of us are drinking water, and it's just going right through you. You feel like you have to pee every 30 minutes. This was me at some point. It just drove me nuts, and I had to figure out a way to stop this, to drink water, find water that is hydrating, that stays in your body, hydrates your cells. And this goes far above, beyond just drinking clean water. There's things you have to do to the water, add to it to improve hydration. So we talk about that on this webinar tomorrow. We're also going to talk about using a sauna to accelerate weight loss and lots of little tips and tricks of how to improve weight loss with sauna. And also why you need to protect your eyes and your brain when doing a sauna and how to do that. This is really controversial. There's a lot of people out there talking about saunas, not, saying that they're perfectly safe. You don't need to use eyewear. You don't need to protect your brain. Oh, that's all a bunch of nonsense, but it really isn't. And I, unfortunately, actually touted this information myself because I thought this was coming from the sauna experts, the people that manufacture the sauna. So it must be true. There was a study about rats that showed that infrared saunas improve their vision. But that was one study. And actually, we'll get into it more, but you do need to protect your eyes and your brain when doing a sauna. And we're going to be talking about that on the webinar tomorrow. We'll also talk about my top 5 sauna detox tips to get the most out of your sauna. So any of you guys, if you already have a sauna or you're thinking about getting one, you'll want to tune in nevertheless because so much good information that's critical to improving detoxification, to improving longevity. I truly believe that people using an infrared sauna on a regular basis, not just for detox, but for all these health benefits I mentioned, and there's so many more. I mean, there's dozens of health benefits to using an infrared sauna with thousands of research studies to back this up. And I truly believe that people using an infrared sauna, a near infrared sauna specifically, on a daily basis or near daily basis are going to be those living a long, healthy, medication-free, disease-free life for so many different reasons because of all the health benefits imparted by use of an infrared sauna. So I invite you guys to join me on this webinar tomorrow. And it's basically, I'm interviewing former nuclear power engineer, auditor, and inspector, Eileen Durfee, who, not surprisingly, became toxic from her job and suffered from chronic pain, allergies, chemical sensitivities, and thyroid disease as a result. And during her journey to heal and achieve natural health, she invented a lot of helpful detox solutions that were major improvements upon detox protocols she was using. And she's very, very passionate about taking good ideas and creating better health products to support detox, energy production, mineralization, and natural health. So I'm very much looking forward to interviewing her tomorrow. I want you guys to join me. So let's get to some of your guys' questions here. Lots of questions popping up. And if you guys have any questions about infrared saunas, please, please don't hesitate to leave a comment and I will answer them right now after I have some green tea. Okay, so first question here, I'm gonna put on my nerd goggles so I can see them. So Celia Morales, thanks so much for joining me on the Facebook Live today. So how safe is sauna use for those with mast cell activation syndrome? So one thing in my free PDF that I'm going to be giving away tomorrow in the webinar is that I talk about the fact that you have to use the sauna the amount of time that works for you. So for some people, if they're very ill, if they have a kind of overactive immune system like mast cell syndrome, activation syndrome, where you release a lot of, cytokines and inflammatory chemicals and things that, and histamines and whatnot, it's very uncomfortable. You just want to start slow with the sauna. Infrared saunas release 90 different heat shock proteins, which are part of your immune system functioning, and they do a lot of things to improve your immune system. And so that's, you just have to start using one, maybe start for about 10 or 15 minutes, see how you do, and you can always work your way up slowly in 5-minute increments and see how you do. Generally, I recommend people do our Nest Health bioenergetic program, any kind of immune system malfunction issue. I find that Nest Health works best for that. So that's what my recommendation is for that. So Kathy Kane, thanks so much for joining us and recommending your mate to come on the Facebook Live. So Joe Clark, so when I sauna, I find my heart rate goes up at night. I'm taking sauna maybe at 2 or 3 p.m., sometimes 4 p.m., and that by night my heart spikes at 2 a.m. Could this mean the sauna is toxic? Not necessarily. So the sauna is not toxic for you. It's just that people have different reactions to sauna. So overall, with continued use, the sauna tends to get people into parasympathetic mode. There's two parts of your nervous system. There's a sympathetic fight or flight, and then there's a parasympathetic, which is the rest, detox, digest part of the nervous system. So for most people that use sauna, it relaxes them. For other people, it can be, especially if they use it in the late afternoon or evening, it could be stimulating for them because you are releasing a lot of toxins that can be keeping you up. You are stimulating, you can be stimulating your body. It can release cortisol. It can have a little bit of a stressful effect, which we want it to have, the sauna to have, and that produces different effects in the brain to produce serotonin, the liver to detox its toxic contents. It just stimulates the body in various ways that has a net positive effect. But infrared saunas, because you're releasing a lot of toxins and mobilizing them from tissue storage sites and out of fat cells, it can have an effect to be uncomfortable and stimulating. Really important to take binders when using an infrared sauna. So my Citra Cleanse binder is a perfect binder that you can take. You can take it 30 minutes before a sauna and 30 minutes after the sauna to kind of trap and bind on to all the toxins in the sauna. And so that's a really, really important thing to be doing anytime you're doing an infrared sauna or any kind of detox protocol, coffee enemas, anything you're taking, supplements you're taking that are known to mobilize toxins. And so that may be the element that you're missing. But some people, they have this tachycardia where they have, their heart rate spikes, and that can be caused by a lot of different things. There can be genetic issues involved. There can be potassium deficiency involved. 97% of people are deficient in potassium. So I usually recommend to people to take potassium supplements. I have an ionic potassium by Trace Minerals in my Myers Detox store, store.myersdetox.com. That's really, really important because there's also the issue of thallium and cesium that displace potassium in the body, and they can cause irregular heartbeat. They can cause muscle spasms and cramps and other things. So even if you're taking potassium, taking it, and you're still having these symptoms, it's because you have too much cesium and thallium displacing the potassium in your body. And so really important to take a supplement like my activated silica. This activated silica, this helps to detox thallium and cesium that could be contributing to that issue, to the tachycardia. So taking this on a regular basis, 6 to 10 drops a day, in addition to my Citra Cleanse to mop up all the toxins mobilized by the activated silica. Really, really important, protocol for people with rapid heartbeat or just, can't seem to address it in any other way. That's a big underlying root cause. And these are kind of the 1-2 punch that will help address that immediately. Will you see, or help address those long-term rather? What I meant to say is you're not going to have immediate results from taking these, but over time with regular consumption, regular detoxification of thallium and cesium that displace potassium, you'll start to see improvement typically. And you want to take potassium also. Next question here. So Jessica Nelson, thanks for joining us. So do binders absorb vitamins too? I take citrus pectin well before vitamins, but wondering why it binds toxins but not vitamins. They do bind to vitamins. It's a very, well-known part of binders is that many binders, depending on how strong they are, can bind to vitamins and minerals as well, and medications. So very, very important to be aware of that and take binders away from other supplements, medications, and food as well, typically. At least 30 minutes before, you can do it for an hour. But you can, it's not like they're gonna absorb, like citrus pectin, for instance, doesn't absorb everything around it. And it definitely does not absorb minerals like activated charcoal does. Activated charcoal is very indiscriminate. It just absorbs everything, which makes it great if you have a toxic exposure, like you drink too much alcohol over the Memorial Day weekend. Great to take activated charcoal to absorb all that up. But on a daily basis, I wouldn't recommend it because of that same effect. Very effective for toxins. But with any protocol that you're doing, you have to weigh the pros and cons. You have to do a cost-benefit analysis. And so long-term, charcoal is not a binder you want to take on a daily basis. That's why I prefer citrus pectin. It may be more mild than charcoal, but we also want to think about retaining our minerals and increasing our mineral levels while at the same time addressing the toxic metals. So that's why I prefer citrus pectin. So Debbie Katz, so what supplement should you take if you sauna daily? So my very favorite supplement that I take, because you lose a lot of electrolytes and salt when you sauna, I love this healthy salt. I'm completely addicted to it. And we're gonna be talking about this on the webinar also tomorrow. But this is really, really important. I'll give you guys a link to it in the comments here. I love this healthy salt because it's 25% minerals. And compare that to sea salt or compare that to Himalayan sea salt or Himalayan land salt. is 1% minerals, or maybe 2% if you're lucky. So this healthy salt's 25% minerals, so it's going to dramatically not only replace the electrolytes and minerals you lost while sweating in the sauna, but increase your minerals and displace and push out heavy metals from enzyme binding sites in the body. A lot of times people are forced to retain heavy metals because they don't have enough minerals to do certain jobs in the body. So if you're mineral deficient, if you're magnesium deficient, zinc, selenium, and other minerals, your body will retain heavy metals and it won't release them until you mineralize your body, and then slowly your body will allow them to release. And when people start taking healthy salt, we see increases in their metals, increases like cadmium and other metals coming out in their hair mineral analysis within a month of starting the healthy salt. And you see the results. You feel the results when you start this stuff. Because when you mineralize your body, you're more relaxed. Your nervous system is more relaxed. You sleep better as a result. I mean, this has way more benefits above and beyond just replacing electrolytes lost from sauna use. So minerals are the key to health, the spark plugs of the body. You have to mineralize your body. And it's part of the kind of the pre-tox I recommend my clients do. I recommend them to, before doing any kind of like major detox, mineralize for a few months. And that goes a long way to improving a lot of symptoms that people have that they, trying to take medications for, this supplement for sleep, or that supplement for depression, or this for anxiety, or whatever the case may be. Just mineralizing their body can go a long way to just mitigating or making those symptoms disappear. Not to mention cravings, because if you are mineral deficient, you are going to crave food. And so next question here. So Bryce Anderson, so I take trace minerals. Yeah, trace minerals are great. I prefer the healthy salt because it's got more minerals and a lot of trace mineral liquid supplements in it. So healthy salt is my favorite, but there's lots of good products out there on the market. So Geraldine Gazzara, hi Wendy, hi, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us on the Facebook Live today. So Geraldine, so I bought a marketed low EMF Far Infrared Sauna a few years ago. The company states the EMF produced is less than a hairdryer. And I've since heard some health experts suggest that these types of saunas are not so healthy to use after all. My question is, do you think I'm doing more harm than good? So no, definitely not. Far infrared saunas are so good for you. So many health benefits. All the research, or most of the research on infrared saunas, or with far infrared saunas, they do detox you. EMF is a big issue with a lot of saunas. And so one thing you can do, just an easy fix, is this Pure Harmony pendant. This will completely protect your body from EMF. So if you're concerned about EMF, you can just wear this pendant while you do a sauna. I wear mine 24/7 except when I shower, because it's an EMF solution. And so that's what I would recommend. It's just an easy solution that really goes with you everywhere you go. It protects you no matter where you go. So that's what I recommend to people worried about EMF. And it's like I mentioned with pros and cons. There's pros and cons to every different health choice that you make, every different diet or supplement or infrared sauna or detox protocol. You have to outweigh the benefits versus the costs. So I don't know what type of sauna you have, but generally it just depends. Some of the brands are very high EMF, like shockingly high EMF for some of the far infrared wooden saunas, and some are really, really low. So that's really the best advice I can give you. Don't worry about it. Use a pendant, protect yourself from EMF, not just in the sauna, but everywhere. I think EMF in the sauna is probably the least of your concerns. I mean, you want to consider that when buying a sauna, but if you've already bought one, you can just mitigate that effect with the Pure Harmony pendant. So Geraldine, so P.S. I bought your citrus pectin and can't wait to start using it. Could you quickly go over how and when to take it? Yes. So this is my pectin here. It's called CitraCleanse, and it's awesome. It's an all-in-one Detox. So I created this because I wanted to create something that has citrus pectin in it to bind to toxins, has cilantro extract to mobilize toxins out of tissue storage sites, and number 3 has fulvic acid and humic acid to, one, have detox benefits and mineralize the body, has anti-inflammatory effects, and just lots of amazing, positive effects on the body. And so the Citra Cleanse, how you take this is it comes in a 5-gram scoop. So you want to take about 1 scoop a day. You can take even 3 to 4 scoops a day throughout the day. You can take it in water, in juice. You can put it in smoothies if you prefer. It's a little on the bitter side, so you can put some stevia in it or some xylitol or some natural sweetener to take the edge off the bitterness. It's got, citrus pectin, so it's made of citrus pills, so they're a little bit bitter. And but you can mitigate that by putting it in a smoothie or, like I said, adding stevia to it. And you want to take it typically first thing in the morning because your body's released a lot of toxins. It's been very busy detoxing while you're sleeping. So taking it first thing in the morning and before you go to bed is key. You can also take it right before a coffee enema or right before an infrared sauna session to bind up, to kind of mop up all the toxins released into your bloodstream, mobilized from tissue storage sites. So that's how I use it. I take it about 2 to 3 times a day typically. And I love it. I formulated this for myself for the product that I wanted to use because I was taking 3 different products before. And I don't know about you guys, but I just want to take as few supplements as possible. I don't want to be just all day long taking all kinds of different things. So that's why I formulated the Citra Cleanse to be kind of like an all-in-one detox and make it a lot easier for yourself and myself as well. Cheryl Tally Moon, thanks for joining us. So do you feel the near-infrared lamp saunas are bad for your eyes, and do you need to wear glasses to protect? So here's the thing. I unfortunately have, given false information in the past, not me specifically, but on podcasts I've done with certain people, every single person maintained based on a research study based on rats that near infrared rays don't hurt your eyes. So we're talking about the red light bulbs, not the far infrared rays so much, but really the near infrared bulbs. There's evidence that shows that the infrared rays can thicken your cornea and contribute to cataracts. So it's important to err on the side of caution and wear protective glasses. And so I'm going to be talking about that more in the podcast, or not the podcast, but the webinar, the live Q&A webinar with Eileen Durfee tomorrow. She developed some infrared glasses that help to protect your eyes. And she developed this because she sold a sauna to an OSHA inspector that, looks at workplaces and evaluates if companies meet work safety standards for their employees. And when employees are working around heat or red lights or bright lights, they are required to wear protective glasses to protect their corneas. And so you want to err on the side of caution, because if you're using a sauna for the rest of your life or using it for years, it's just a good idea. It's just smart to do so. So Eileen developed some glasses for this. I'm going to talk about tomorrow. You can also find those in my store at store.myirishdetox.com. They're called IR glasses or infrared radiation glasses. So if you just go in store.myirishdetox.com and click on detox products and infrared saunas, you'll see the glasses there. So next question. So Kevin Eaton, sounds like your description of near infrared sauna is what I've come to think of as a full spectrum infrared. In other words, both near, far, and everything in between. Yes, that is correct. Yeah, because near infrared bulb saunas, when we see of a near infrared sauna, the red light bulbs that come with them emit mostly far infrared. But that's great because that's what detoxes you. That's what heats you up. You need that heat to sweat and to detox. Most of the research is done on far infrared rays. But the near infrared, that's what your body has receptor sites, especially your mitochondria, for near infrared rays. So that helps to store up energy. You also get color therapy with the red light bulbs. And there's a lot of other things we're going to talk about tomorrow on the webinar in regards to these light bulbs. But essentially, yeah, near, mid, and far. And they mimic the spectrum of the sun. So it's a lot more natural for you than like just a far infrared sauna. So Maggie May, thanks for joining us. So I would love to hear more about the eyes and the near infrared sauna. So I just went over that a little bit. So Ray Jean Johnson, thanks for joining us. So hope you sent an email for tomorrow's webinar. The link isn't working or copying for me. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, so I'll give you guys the direct link to the webinar since for whatever reason that's not working. So here is the link for the webinar. I'll put that right here. I'll also copy and paste it with the information again, since that's not working. So join us tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, the 29th, Wednesday, June 29th. May 29th, actually. Yeah, May 29th. Yay. Yeah, so I will post this here in the comments again so that you guys can join us. So just register at this link here. So thanks for letting me know that. Next question. So I'm going to a sauna in town that has a full spectrum sauna as well as the color therapy. Yeah, so, you know, some of we're going to talk about this on the webinar tomorrow, but some companies are marketing their infrared saunas as full spectrum. So just beware if they're a wooden sauna and they have the black carbon panels and there's just some little red lights in the ceiling. So if a sauna has the little red lights in the ceiling and they're red, then these are near infrared LEDs, and they're actually clear, my mistake. So the near infrared LEDs are clear, they're not visible by the human eye, and they're too far away to really reach you and get these near infrared benefits. So unfortunately, they're usually not going to be of any benefit for you, even though technically the sauna provides full spectrum therapy. So just be aware of that. And next question here. So Kelly Foss. So I know saunas are not safe for kids under 7. Can you talk about this? And is it also safe for pets to wander in and out? Yeah, so it's perfectly safe for pets to wander in and out. I've used saunas on my dog before when they have like a wound or they weren't feeling well. Infrared saunas are perfectly safe, the bulb saunas, to use on pets. For children, I've always talked about how you don't want to use a sauna on a child under 7. They can certainly stay, like a young child can stay in for like a few minutes, but their heat regulation mechanisms have not fully developed in their body until after age 7. So just to err on the side of caution, usually good to keep children under the age of 7 out of a sauna. But they can come in for a couple of minutes. Just a few minutes is not going to hurt any child, no matter what age they are. But just a longer session, 10 minutes or more, I just wouldn't do it. I'm trying to get my daughter right now to do more sauna sessions with me. She's 9, my daughter Winter. She's not really super keen on it, but she will come in sometimes. But I'm trying to get her really into it and educate her about them because they're so beneficial, not just for heavy metal and chemical detox, but all these different benefits that I talked about on the Facebook Live today. So that's all the questions. So unless you guys have any other questions, if you think of anything, leave a comment. If you missed any part of this lecture, you can watch this video again on YouTube. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/Wendy Myers. Facebook will start this show over again. Once the video is kind of uploaded, it'll start again from the beginning. You can watch it at any time on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Myers Detox. So thanks so much for tuning in. It's just a pleasure to be able to educate you guys every week about different topics regarding detoxification. So thanks for joining me today, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon.